Hey Motorheads, it's your boy MP coming at you live and direct from the Hell Mega headquarters out here in beautiful San Francisco, California. And I think the car on the menu tonight is going to be a big shocker for a lot of you, especially since I've been focusing primarily on German cars lately. It's the Nissan 370Z, a car that was released in 2009 and obviously carried over in 2010. And I really want to touch base on this car because I've been corresponding with some people via email and talking about cars, and everyone is so focused on German motoring. And I am the biggest German advocate there is in the world. But I think that we also have to pay respect to where it's due. And the 370Z is no joke, not at all. And it's definitely something that I feel like a lot of people overlook because it's not in German maybe. And you know, you're talking about a car that has 40 years of history. Back when Nissan was Datsun, 40 years ago in 1969, they came out with the first Z. And since then, they've done nothing but make crazy changes. My dad actually sold Nissans back in the early 90s. When I was a young boy, I actually remember him driving the 300ZX, the twin turbo. I mean, the car had 300 horsepower. It did 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. I mean, the car was, still an instant classic. Still probably in like my top 10 cars. I mean, it's definitely put its mark on the car industry for history purposes, and definitely laid down the foundation and groundwork probably for the 370Z today. That car back in 1990 was definitely innovative for its time, and the 370Z right now is actually very innovative for its time and very aggressively put at the price point that it's at. Now, the 370Z is obviously a sibling car to the G37, and I'm not going to really talk about the G37 right now, but I'm going to try to hopefully make sense of why the 370Z might be the right car for you over the G37. I think the G37 definitely has some stronger luxury points. I definitely want to clarify that, but it's definitely not going to have the performance that the 370Z offers. The 370Z is a 300 and I believe 32 horsepower engine, 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds. 3.7 liter V6. I mean, just natural in-your-face power again, on such a tiny little frame. Obviously they had the 350Z, which was the last generation car, and since then they bumped up that horsepower. They cut out a lot of body weight by changing to aluminum doors, aluminum hood, aluminum trunk, and they also shortened the car a little bit. So all this makes for a very faster car. Remember, like I said, there's one thing you can't hide, and that's body fat. So even though they made the engine change, the big change for me was the changing of the doors and the hood and the trunk to aluminum. The one thing that's really hot about this car and super innovative, and this is for the serious drivers out there who do heel-to-toe shifting. When you downshift the car, like let's say you're in fourth, shift to the third, or third obviously shifting down to second, or sixth up to fifth, it matches revs. So what that is, for people that don't understand what I'm saying, if you're cruising in fourth gear at 3,000 RPMs and make the downshift into third gear, which would usually kick your car up to, let's say, like 3,900 RPMs, a lot of you out there, I can guarantee you, are probably putting in the clutch, shifting up to third, and just letting off the clutch. Now, that is not a very good way to drive, and that's actually really bad on your transmission a lot of you, and puts a lot of wear on your motor as well. But when you actually give it a blip of gas, hit the throttle a little bit, and then release the clutch, when it matches that rev, it releases a lot of stress on the transmission and the engine, and it makes for a much smoother shift. And so the car automatically will does that for you now. It blips the throttle for you, so you get that synchronized rev matching. This is huge. This is a very big thing, and it's the first car to really do that. And it deserves a lot of kudos for continually being innovative and pushing the envelope and making it a lot easier for people that who love the idea of driving a stick but don't necessarily know 100% what they're doing yet. There's a lot of us out there. I learn more and more every day driving a car, so it's a continual thing. But that's a great thing that they offer. The G37 does not do that, to my knowledge, at least. If it does, someone please email me and let me know. But definitely a very cool feature. Now, they made some very subtle design changes in the 350Z to the 370Z. They did a little bit of a different styling with the headlight. I'm still kind of on the fence. I don't know if I like it or not. The old one was kind of square, like rectangle. It had a very classic kind of match with the lines of the car down the side feel. The car was never designed overly aggressive, and I think like the new version is definitely a little bit more in your face. It has like these barbed headlights that look almost Nissan Altima-like. And then obviously a little bit more aggressive hood. The styling is definitely a little more sportier. And sometimes that's not always a good thing. I'm kind of trying to warm up to it. I think it's an acquired taste. The rear tail lights also, which I'm a big thing about rear tail lights. I don't think rear tail lights gets as much love as it really needs to. The rear tail lights also have that barbed kind of look, that cutout look. And it just, I guess they're just trying to pull everything together. I don't know. I think they could have probably done a little bit better job. One thing that I will tip my hat to is the fact that they did make an effort to improve the cabin. Now, I obviously drove the 350Z. I've driven, obviously, the 300ZX when I was a little boy, and I have had the opportunity to sit in and get a better understanding for the 370Z. I haven't driven it yet, to be honest with you. But the 350Z was pretty pathetic on the inside. It was very cheesy, a lot of plastic, very, very Japanese, and I definitely didn't even remotely consider it to be in, obviously, the German class. The 370Z made a little bit more effort. It definitely took on a little bit more Infinity feel on the inside. The navigation layout is very G37. The steering wheel, I think they try to make an improvement. It's obviously much different. I personally don't like it. It seems a little too busy for me, especially in a performance car. But, it's still a nice steering wheel nonetheless. Has nice finger cutouts for the thumbs. So it's a nice car. The main selling point of this car, though, is everything that I named, and with great safety features, too. This car is like $29,000, $30K starting price, where, and I'm talking about a 0 to 60 car in 4.7 seconds. Let's not forget, that's almost M3 speed, which is a $70,000 car. So it is a humongo bang for the buck. If you want to be under the $35K price point and you want something sporty, I don't think you can get too many things as fun, as fast, and as advanced as the 370Z if you're looking for a sports car. It's high on my list of recommendations. I would love to talk to you more about it, love to give you more details about it. The car looks great in red, looks brilliant in black, looks sharp in silver, looks good in white, has all kinds of colors. I don't really care for the rusty tangerine look so much that they keep pushing on that car, but I mean, it's a really fun car with a lot of history. And the reason why I wanted to do this video is because I wanted to open up the minds of all the German motorheads out there and, breathe in a little bit of that Japanese love that they're trying. They're making an effort. And I think that they gave you a very, very good run for your money with this 370Z. So check it out. Check out the links. And in the meantime, keep motoring.